Hi everybody, in this video we're going to be looking at price elasticity of supply. So this is the next elasticity, and the definition of this is the responsiveness of the supply of a product to a change in its price. So how much more will be supplied when the price of the product goes up, for example? Because we know that the simple correlation between price and the quantity supplied is that if the price goes up, businesses will want to supply more. But this helps us look at how much more are they able to supply, because they'll want to supply more, but is that possible? Can they supply as much more as they want to? And I've drawn here 5 different supply curves, and I'd recommend that you pause the video in a moment and you try and work out the elasticity of these different curves. And then if you press play again, and you can check whether you're right. So this first one here, this is relatively elastic. And it's an easy one to remember because this looks slightly like an E for elastic. And if it's relatively elastic, it means that a percentage change in price causes a larger percentage change in the quantity being supplied. And if you were to look at the curve here, when we have a change in the price, it causes really a more significant change, a larger percentage change in the quantity being supplied, because the price has gone from P to P1, for example, and the quantity supplied has gone from Q to Q1. So the percentage change in price has caused a larger percentage change in the quantity demanded. This distance here is bigger than this small distance here, and that's relatively elastic. The next one here, this is relatively, so quite, inelastic. And again, quite easy to remember because this looks like an I for inelastic. And here we can see that when we have our percentage change in price, it leads to a smaller percentage change in the quantity being supplied, because when the price goes up, it only causes this very small, much smaller percentage change in the quantity being supplied. So when the price goes up, they want to supply more, but actually, if they have relatively inelastic PES, they're only able to supply a small amount more. So the percentage change in price is causing a smaller percentage change in the quantity being supplied. They're not able to supply a lot more, even though they might want to. This curve here, this is completely horizontal. This is perfectly elastic. It really looks like the beginning of your E letter. This is perfectly elastic. And this means a percentage change in price causes an infinite percentage change in the quantity being supplied. This curve here, this is perfectly inelastic. And you can see here, it doesn't matter what the price is, the quantity supplied is always this much. It's essentially stuck at Q. So this would mean that a percentage change in price causes no percentage change in the quantity supplied. So no matter what, the quantity supplied is exactly the same. This is a special curve here. This one, if I've drawn it correctly, this is going up at a 45-degree angle. And this means that, for example, if the price goes up from P to P1, actually your percentage change in the quantity supplied is exactly the same percentage. So this one, we say it has unitary elasticity. And this means a percentage change in price causes an equal percentage change in the quantity supplied. We're going to look at the calculations for these, but just in brief, the values for these different curves. If it's relatively elastic, this is going to be greater than 1, the value. If it's relatively inelastic, the value will be less than 1. If it's perfectly elastic, the value will be infinity. If it's perfectly inelastic, the value will be 0. And if it's unitary, the value will be 1. And another side point, your price elasticity of supply is always going to be positive because your curve is sloping upwards, in these cases anyway, apart from when it's infinity.